So our tax system is a barrier to home ownership, and it was great to see the Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, speak at the National Press Club last week, talking about the fact that the government finally is expressing some interest in significant tax reform for the country. Most Australians know that our tax system is no longer fit for purpose when it comes to dealing with the challenges of an ageing population, of climate change, and of the need to deal effectively with the housing crisis. We're just too dependent on income tax, and that's particularly difficult for young Australians who are having to deal not only with crisis of housing affordability, but also having to increasingly cover the cost of aged care, pensions, education and defence. At the same time, their own education debts have increased. So they're entering adult life with significant debt from their education. They're struggling to afford a home of their own. And for that reason, they're buying homes later, starting families later as well. Our tax system advantages some states over others, but it also gives massive free kicks to the oil and gas industry and mineral resources industries, which export billions of dollars worth of our finite resources, and they don't pay enough tax. In fact, we subsidise the fossil fuel industry to the tune of $14 billion every year. The challenge with tax reform is that, of course, no one wants to be worse off. So any significant tax reform has to take into account every part of the population's wants and needs. We also need to look at the federal and state divide. Too often in recent years, we've seen state governments levying their own taxes and other imposts, which are at odds with federal policies. Basically, we have to have the courage to talk about all parts of the tax system in a way that is sensitive, which is evidence-based and takes into account the long-term needs of the country. So I'm really glad that the Treasurer has had the courage to put this review on the table. We have to have a tax system that celebrates and supports productivity, education, workers, but also those people who need care. I'll be looking to our community for advice and feeding back into the tax reform process at every point along the line.